Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will describe to you a very beautiful bag model belonging to a famous brand. We will prepare such floral motifs. We will finish our bag by combining the motifs and sewing the handles. I worked exactly in accordance with the original. The original bag did not have a lining inside. I didn't sew a lining either. Lining was used only on the handle part. If you want, you can apply primer to the inside and also to the handle. It may be preferred to prevent the bag from stretching. It's a nice bag that can be used both ways. You can use this as a daily bag or as a beach bag. The width of our bag is 45 centimeters and the length is 44 centimeters. I tried to share the entire process with you in detail, step by step. I hope that will be useful. You will watch our bag in two parts. First, we will complete our motif. We will describe our motif. Then how do we combine the motif? How do we bring it to bag form? You will watch this in the second episode. I really enjoyed it. I hope you like it and try it too. It ends very quickly. You can easily complete such a work in about 2-3 days. The yarn I used was spaghetti yarn mercerized cotton yarn. I can't say how much of this yarn I used because I used the remaining threads I had, but 2 balls of yarn will be enough for the joining point and the handle. Since it is 50 grams, you can use it for joining 2 balls and stem points if you are going to use the same rope as me. You can also use your leftover ropes at home in this project. It was a really nice project that could be made with leftover yarn. I hope you like it and try it too. Before moving on to our detailed recipe, I would like to make a small request from you. You can subscribe to our channel for free. I would be really happy if you like the video and leave your comments. Let's move on to our recipe. I used spaghetti yarn mercerized cotton rope for my bag. I would like to share the feature of the rope with you. Its mixture is 100% mercerized cotton. It weighs 50 grams. It is 125 meters long. Its texture is shiny. It is a very comfortable yarn. If you want such quality ropes, I really recommend you to use this yarn in your summer works. It was a yarn that was very enjoyable and easy to knit. I want to share it with you in its knitted form. Look, it has a very shiny texture. I never needed to iron it after working with this yarn. It looks like a mold and has a very light and soft texture. I can say that it is a yarn that will not make you sweat in the summer. You can easily use it in your summer work. We will now make a bag with you, but you can easily use this motif on clothes, blankets, cushions, and decorative works other than the bag. It is really easy and enjoyable to make. I used a total of 18 motifs from my bag. We will prepare 18 motifs, 9 on the front and 9 on the back. You will definitely be asked how much rope is used here. Unfortunately, I cannot say that I used this much yarn because I used the colors I had on hand. This is a project where you can easily use your leftover yarn at home. Because no 2 motifs are alike, they are all different motifs. Now let's move on to describe our motif. I bought my mercerized cotton thread. Look, my crochet number, which I use 9 closely like this, is 3 millimeters. You can determine your own crochet number according to the thinness and thickness of your own yarn and the tightness and looseness of your knitting. We first start with the magic ring. If there are beginners among us, how to make a magic ring? I've shared the detailed video before. I will add the link to the description section of our video. You can access it by clicking there. After creating our magic ring in this way, look, we have pulled one of our chains. Now look, I've stretched my loop so it doesn't happen very often. I sink into my ring, I remove the noose. I have 2 stitches and I completed them. I knit single needle. We dip into the ring again, remove the loop and knit single crochet. We will repeat this process 8 times. So we are preparing 8 single needles in total. Let's do it quickly. 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8. Look, we are counting the points with spikes and spikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we pull the short rope remaining from the magic ring to the point where we can pull it and close this middle part. After closing the first needle that comes, look, that was the reason why we stretched it. Let's sink to the first point easily, first tight. We insert the crochet into the top space of the needle, take the short remaining thread on the crochet, remove the stitch from this point and slide it from the other stitch. We started with 8 single stitches and made the tying. Now we will move to the next row. For this, we will pull a chain again and look at the first single needle that we shifted. We knit 2 single needles by sinking at the top. We knit 2 single needles at the same point and another 2 single needles at the same point. 1 or 2. Now we continue like this until the end of the row. By sinking each one twice, we will have 16 single needles in total. We completed our turn. We had 16 single needles in total. Now we sink to the top where the first single needle is. We remove the loop and slide it from our other loop, lock it with a chain, and then cut our rope sufficiently. We remove it directly from our loop in this way and get bored. Look, we have already hidden this rope long enough. You can cut off that excess thread. If you work on your motif cleanly, your work will be easier in the next stage. Now we will hide the short rope here and work on the next row. Now I'm getting another color of ours. After getting a different color, I immediately create a loop with a chain. I'm stuffing it into my crochet hook. Look, I'm taking the first piece I knitted. I sink into the top of the first single crochet I slide. I remove the noose. I have 3 loops because I wrap them around the beginning of my hook. I'm filling up again. I take both of them together and this short rope to the intermediate point. I'm filling up again. I knit them together and start with a double crochet. I wrapped it again. I come to the same gap and knit 2 more double handrails. Look, we knitted a couple of stitches. I filled them by sinking into the same slot again. I took out a stitch. It has 3 loops. I wrapped them together again. I prepared the double handrail by knitting them both together. Look, we knit 3 handrails in the first space. At the first point, there is a chain in between. We fill it, skipping 1 single crochet and moving on to the next single crochet. We prick the needle. We remove the stitch. We knit 3 double handrails, 1 in the same space. 2, 3 at this stage. If you think I knitted too fast, you can start the video or vice versa. You can watch it by speeding it up. After 3 crochets, we wrapped a chain, left a space, and inserted into the single needle space. In the next space, we knit 3 double crochets. There is a chain between them. We will leave a space and prepare our triple banister groups. We will have 8 groups in total. We have come to the end of our turn. This is how we created a total of 8 triple handrail groups. We have a chain between them. Now we pull a chain at the last point and sink into the head space of the first handrail. We remove the loop and slide it from the other loop. At this stage, I made a chain and lengthened the loop a little. We'll leave it here. Now I'm getting another different color. Here, I immediately create a loop with a chain, but this time I'm removing it from my loop. I'm getting my motivation. Look, it's right across from where I finished. I did this to work comfortably. You can start from any point you want, no problem. Look, we missed 1 single crochet while knitting the handrail groups. I just finished like this. I prefer to start from the point opposite the school. There was also a single crochet gap here. This is the empty needle that we skipped. I sink this stitch, take the hook and pass it through this point, and look, now I sink through the gap between the 2 handrail groups, wrapping my thread around the head of the hook and a chain again into the same gap. I'm sinking, I take my rope from here, take out the loop and pull the second chain. Look like this. The second chain is in the third chain. Look. We will pull it like this in the third chain with the color remaining in between. We will consider it as a handrail again. This is not enough. Now look immediately. I sink into the head space of the first handrail. I'm shifting from this point. We're doing this to fix this place. Now I'm pulling a 1, 2, 3, 4 chain. I'm wrapping it around the beginning of the hook. Look, I'm wrapping it around the hook head of the single crochet we skipped. I'm sinking to the top of the single crochet. At the moment, I'm sinking to the top of the single crochet we've skipped. Look, I'm working from the front. I took my thread from here and made a loop. I fill it, I pass it through the first 2 stitches. 2 stitches are waiting on the hook. I need to fix it on the back side as I did in the first place. Look, I sink to the top of the first handrail of the next 3. Look. We sink to the top of the first handrail. We remove the stitch from here, pass the stitch we removed through the other 2 stitches and close the handrail. Look, by fixing the next handrail, that is the next handrail. Now we are filling 4 chains again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Look at the single needle we skipped. Look at the single needle at the bottom, sinking into the top of the single needle we skipped in this way and removing a loop from there. We knit the first 2. We knit 2, 3, 4 chains again. Come to the single crochet we skipped. Look, we are knitting the handrails by making fixations in this way. Now I want to show you at this transition point we will continue in this way until the end of the row. Now what will we do at the point where this stitch is? This is an important tip. I am knitting it on the single crochet again. Look, I knitted the first 2 stitches of the needle. Here is the point where I shifted the handrail. I sink to this point. The first handrail we started with, look, the loop is here. From here I dip and remove the loop and close the other 2 stitches. Now since this will be the leafy point, look, since our lily color will be the leafy point, we take this rope to the front at the leafy point. Look, we put the ropes in the front as they are. Now we fill 1, 2, 3, 4. We knit our handrail by inserting it into the top of the next single needle to the other banister. We will continue the same process like this. We have come to the end of our row. We have pulled our last 4 chains and we are coming to the point where we started with the first chain. Here we finish the row by sinking into the chain where we shifted to the first trabzan, removing the stitch and shifting it from our other stitch. Now pull a chain and look at the same point as at the other point. I leave the stitch a little longer to prevent it from coming apart and leave it here. Now I go to the opposite side and switch to my other color. Look, it is knitted like this. I'm pulling this colorful chain. I'm filling it up. There are 4 chains. The handrail points are visible again. We accept a handrail in these 3 chains. Now it's coming again. Look, I'm sinking to the top of the other handrail. I had 3 handrails. I removed 3 chains from the first one. I sink to the top of the second handrail. Look, the chain will stay behind like this. I directly insert the handrail, remove the stitch and knit a double handrail. Since I need to increase here, I do it from this point. I come back to the same space and knit the second double handrail. I'm filling up, last 1 handrail left. I sink the other handrail here and knit a double handrail. Now there are 2 chains in the transition. We pull our 2 chains and fill them. Look, there are 3 points with handrails. Look right here, I'm sinking the same color handrail onto the top of the first handrail like this. I never touch the chain. Look, the chain will stay behind. I sink with the handrail here and fill in a double handrail. 2 double handrails for the second one. In this way, the triple handrails are increased to 4. I am filling up. I am filled by sinking into another. I have knitted the 4th handrail. Look, the chain dot remains at the back. Now we repeat the same process again with 2 chains. Here, let's come to the starting point. There's a trick here again. Let's share it with you. It is small details but important details. 2 chains again. We knit 4 handrail dots. The chain dot is at the back. We knit 2 handrails from the second one. Now look, this is the point where we do the chain work. Since these will be this ground point, this ground needs to stay in the back. That's why I keep the background color behind. I don't put it on the front like the other leaf. Look, I don't take it forward like this. I'm taking it to the back. I pull my 2 chains without touching this. Look, the thread is on the back. I immediately sink from the top of the first railing and complete my railings into 4. Now we will proceed like this to the end of the row. Look, this rope is at the back. Let's come to the end of the line. Let's continue to the next stage together. We completed our turn. After knitting our 4 handrails, we draw our 2 chains at this stage, and by sinking into the first, second, third chain at the beginning, we remove the loop and slide it from the other loop, pulling a chain and lengthening our loop a little so that it does not come off. And look, since I've completed the row, I need to move on to another color. Look at the other color I left at the back here. I'm dropping it between the banisters right here in the middle. I pick up the stitch here. We left it with a chain. Look, I am removing the loop from here. Sink into the same gap again and see, I continue to pull the chain from here. Second chain, knit the third chain just in between. I pull my third chain this way. We accept this as a banister again. We got around. Now come to the same space and look, we are sinking again into the space where we remove the chain into the scroll space. We sink and make a loop like this. We have 3 stitches, we got around, we knit the first 2. Without closing the 2, we sink to the top of the next railing and remove the loop from there. By sliding the loop we remove from the other 2 stitches. Look, we have increased the handrail from 1 to 2. We need to fix it in this way. Now our chain increases to 5. We chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and fill it. By the way, there is one handrail point that we knitted. Look, we move the chains forward like this while knitting, so we need to fix it in this way. It's like bending like this when you straighten it with your hand. Look at the banister. We drew 5 chains in between. We filled it. Now we are sinking into the trabzon hill with a single needle. We are sinking into the trabzon hill and removing the loop. We are knitting the first stitch. Now there is a difference here while we are waiting for our 2 stitches. Now we are sinking into this wide 2 chain gap. Look, we are sinking into the 2 chain gap and first knitting the first stitch. We fix the handrail in this way. We knit the handrail and fill it. We will do the second handrail as here. We sink to the top of the handrail again. We remove the stitch in the same space because there will be an increase. We knit the first 2 stitches. The last 2 stitches, we fix the first handrail in the row and close it like this. Look, we have knitted 2 handrails. Now we have knitted 5 chains in 2. We are filling 3 or 4 5s. Look at the empty railing here. We are sinking to the top of the railing that we have knitted. We have removed a stitch. We are knitting the first 2 stitches. Look at the wide gap where the first railing is and the chain. Look at the wide gap where the chain is. Removing the loop by sinking into the wide gap of 2 chains. And after fixing the first railing in this way, the second railing is normal as in other points. We fix it, we take the first 2, we sink to the top of the next railing, we remove the loop, we slide the loop, we remove from the other 2 stitches again, 3, 4, 5 chains, we repeat the same process in this way and move on to the end of the row. We have reached the end of our row. After pulling our 5 chains, we sink into the 1 2/3 chain here. Since we accepted the handrail, after sinking into the 3rd chain, we remove the loop and slide it from our other loop. At this point, we pull a chain and leave our loop again to prevent it from being removed, and we move to the opposite side. Look, we left it at the front. We left this rope loop at the front because it is the color of this leafy dot. Now we will take our loop and crochet for a long time. I shortened the stitch we left as follows. I crochet this stitch, I drew a chain at the beginning, I remove it and go up again with 1, 2, 3 chains. We accept a handrail in these 3 chains. We will knit the same way again. The chained part will remain at the back. This time our number of handrails will increase to 5. I am filling it C3. It is not the point where the chain is. I sink to the top of the first handrail. I take the back part to the chained point. I knit a double handrail from here. I come back to the same point and knit 2 double handrails on the second handrail. I wrap it around the next handrail and the next handrail. We knit 5 like this. Look, I want to bring it closer like this. We knit 5 handrails, 3 or 4. We increased it to 5. In this way, we draw 2 chains again while passing. We wrap them around. Look, I'm skipping 2 banisters here. I sink to the top of the banister we knit in the same color and do not touch the chained point. I remove the stitch and knit the banister in 2. I knit 2 pieces of the banister, one after the other. I increase by knitting in the same space, that is, double knitting, handrail again, handrail to another, handrail to another. This way I increase it to 5. Look, it looks like this at the back with the chain points. I hope it was understandable. Now, by pulling 2 chains, we will remove 5 handrails in this way. By increasing our handrails, we proceed to the end of the row, as I have described to you. We have come to the end of our turn. After knitting our 5 handrails by increasing them, we now draw our 2 chains and we sink into the first, second, third chain we pulled at the beginning. We remove the loop and slide it from the other loop. Now, since we have reached 5 handrails, we will not use the other color right now. Now we will knit this color one more row and then tear it off and we will be done with this color. Now after shifting, we pull a chain and enter the chain again. We knit one single crochet. We made a loop. We have 2 loops. Squeeze needle. We are filling up. We skip the first railing. Look, single crochet because we are knitting the chain. However, we also skip another banister. So we jump over one handrail and sink into the gap where the third handrail is in the middle. We made a loop. We have 3 stitches. We are knitting a double handrail. We skip both together. We wandered around the 2 together. Now look, we are making the leafy part. We create the point with the upturned leaves. We knitted the banister and filled it. We come to the same gap and fill in another double handrail. We came to the same nest and made a loop. We have 3 stitches and completed them. We went around your principal one by one. We circled the 2 together again. We knitted a triple crochet by knitting the 2 together. This time we fill it twice. We came to the same space and made a loop. We will knit a triple handrail again, but we will do it by pulling 2 by 2. We completed this process. We circled the 2 together again. We circled the 2 together again, both together. Now we fill it once again, coming to the same slot and removing the loop, the first one, both together. By knitting the 2 together, we create our triple banister. Then we went around again. We come to the same slot and knit 2 more double handrails. First double handrail we got around, and the second double handrail. Now there are 7 handrails in total. The beginning of this is 2 double handrails, 1 triple banister, a triple banister that we knitted by wrapping 1 twice. Afterwards it's the same as here, a triple banister that we knitted by wrapping 1 single loop. Then we obtained a total of 7 handrail points in the form of 2 handrails. Now we're jumping over another banister here. We sink directly into another handrail, remove the stitch and knit single crochet. Look, we have prepared the last tip of the leaf in this way. Now we draw 2 chains. After 2 chains, drop the stitch directly into the top of the first handrail and make a single crochet. By wrapping it around the head of our crochet hook, we skip 1 crochet and become the 3rd crochet. Look, we missed a banister here. We immediately knit 2 double handrails by sinking into another handrail, 1, second double handrail, we are filling up. We made a loop, triple banister. The first stitch is single, both together, both together. Now go around it twice. Again, triple banister, but twice. By taking 2 by 2, both together, both together, both together. We got around 1 triple handrail in the same slot. First intact, 2 together, both together. We got around. Now 2 double handrails, 1. Second double handrail in the same slot. We knitted 7 handrails in total in this way. Now we leave 1 handrail and come to the last handrail here and knit single needles directly. Then we start our model by knitting the first handrail point with single crochet with 2 chains. Another look. In this way we have completed the last tip of our leaf by knitting fans. Now we will come to the end of the row with this color. Here we will finish and move on to another color. We have come to the end of our turn. After the single crochet here, we draw our 2 chains. We tighten with a chain at this point by sinking into the top of the first single needle we started with, removing the loop and slipping it from the other stitch, and by cutting our rope just enough, we remove it from our loop and lock it. We have nothing to do with this color anymore. Now look, we had the rope we left behind. Now look at this back. Where is the loop? Between 2 handrail points. I'm sinking from this intermediate point. Am I attaching this loop? Look, I'm taking the front part like this. I'm going down from the same slot again and pulling a second chain. I pulled a chain and extended the loop. The second chain is now here. The third chain is at this point. I'm pulling it so that it's at this point. I won't leave it too loose because we'll consider it a handrail. I'm filling it by removing the chain from the chain. We accepted this as a banister. Now there's the second handrail here. We sink to the top of this banister that comes after the chain. We made a loop from here. We got around both together. See, there is no link here. I'm filling up both together. From where we have already connected the chain, we finished it this way without tying the middle handrail since we would tie it when finishing. I'm filling up. I sink into the top space where the same handrail is and make a stitch and knit them together. I leave 2 stitches here. Here we tie it to single crochet. Look, we are pricking the top of the incoming needle. We made a loop. We increased the handrail to 3 by passing it through 2 loops. Now we will not draw chains here. Look at our knitting like this and we see the reverse part. We had a gap of 5 chains here. Look, after knitting the banister here, we fill it directly. Here you can bend the front part of the remaining 5 chains in the back to knit easily. I'm filling up. I sink into the space of 5 chains here and knit 5 clay handrails. I knitted 1 handrail in the same space, 2 in the same space, and 3, 4, and 5 in the same space. Now we will knit 3 handrails in the front and 5 handrails in the back. After knitting the 5 handrails, see that there are no chains, etc. I fill it directly. Look, we're coming to the front. Here is the first handrail. I got around. This is how I dip into the top of the first pink colored banister and make a loop. I got around. I knit the first 2 stitches together. I will not make a connection. From where it's already connected to the back, I got around. Double handrail. Look directly. I knitted a handrail without making any connections. I fill it directly. I sink into the second railing. We will knit 2 double handrails. Look, we knitted a double handrail. I'm charging without making any connections. Now we will knit the third handrail here. We are making an increase. Look, they sink to the same point and make a loop both together, but we need to make a connection here. We're sinking into the top of the single needle here. We made a loop. We first passed it through the remaining 2 stitches. In this way, we will definitely make the connection in the last part. Here, we do not make connections after 5 handrails at the end because look here directly, the intermediate part is not that much of a problem, but let's definitely tie it into single crochet here. We are filling up. Then I come back and knit 5 handrails in the 5 chain space at the back. I fill 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I immediately straighten my knitting and sink into the first of the 2 railings here. I fill the double railing to the second one. I knit the first 2 while knitting the third. Look, without closing the last 2 stitches, I insert the needle into the top of the needle, remove the stitch, and pass the first stitch I removed from here through the 2. Look at it this way. We proceed with the handrails, 5 at the back and 3 at the front. We went around again. Look again, we have come to the chain part. We knit 5 handrail points. Then I knit the front parts in 3s as I have described to you here, and I want to show you once again in detail. In this way, we complete this row. We have come to the end of our row. Look, we have knitted 5 handrails on the chained point at the back. We had already knitted 3 handrails on the front part. Now we will make the connection. We sink directly into the first, second, third chain at the beginning. We made a loop. We slide it from our other stitch. At this stage, we pull a chain. Look at this chain point. Dip again. Remove the stitch and knit single crochet. We knitted our single needle here. Now we sink to the top of the railing that comes after the chain. We remove the stitch. We knit it on the second single needle. Now we sink the third railing and knit a single needle to the top point. Look like this. I am twisting the leaf. There are 5 handrails at the back. We will knit 4 of these 5 handrails single needle. We continue. We have knitted 2, 3, or 4 single crochet stitches. Now when we come to the last railing of this crochet, we fill it up. We immediately sink into this railing and make a stitch. We have 3 stitches. We got around. We knit a single handrail by collecting 3 of them at once. This is called a tight needle. We are filling up. Next thing you know, now we're at the point where the trio is. There are 3 handrails in front. We knit a double handrail for the first of this trio. 1. Both together, we got around. Look at the second of this trio. We will knit 6 double handrails in total. 1 in the same space, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in the same space. Look, we created the first corner. We created this corner. We started with single needles. If anyone is wondering about the number here, we started with 4, 3 more 7 single crochets, 2, 4, 6, 7 single crochet. Single handrail to the next one, double handrail from one to the other. Look, this also corresponds to the triple point. We knitted a total of 6 double handrails for the second of the triple handrail. To create this corner, we are filling up. We knit another handrail with a double handrail. We got around. Now look, we are at the point where there are 5 handrails at the back. Look at the first one again, just like here. We have 3 stitches left. We are filling up. We knitted a single handrail. Now we will proceed with single crochet knitting. By the way, we will have 11 single needles in total. Now let's continue knitting together. Look, we knit a single crochet on the first of the 5. Now we knit single crochet on the other and count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look, we are passing the triple banisters. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We knitted 11 single crochet stitches. When we looked, what did we do around the corner? We knitted 5 handrails in the 5 chain space we knitted at the back of the last of the 5. We were going to knit a single handrail for the last one here, and we came to the same point again. After passing with 11 single crochets, we come to this point. We are knitting our single handrail. We'll repeat the process in that corner. Now we will knit a double handrail for the first of the 3. We are filling up 6 double handrails for the second one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Another handrail is 1 double handrail. I'm filling up. Look, we are knitting a single handrail again at the first point of the 5th. We collect all 3 at once. Now I will knit 11 single crochet again. There are handrails here. Look, there are 5 in the back and 3 in the front. You can now treat this as a straight row. We will knit 11 handrails. Look, I want to show these leaves like this. One word so that it can be understood more easily. There are 11 single needles in between. Single handrail in the corner, double handrail in the same space, then 6 handrails in the same space. As I have described to you here, we will complete the other corners as well, 4 at the last finish. We will have 1 single crochet point left, because we started here with 7 single crochets when we started, and we will complete it with 4 single crochets when we finish. Let's finish our row as we have described to you now. We have come to the end of our row. We have knitted our 4 single crochets. Look, after knitting the 4 last handrails, the first one is the first one. We sink to the top of the single crochet we started with, remove the stitch and slide it from the other stitch. At this point, we go up by making 1, 2, 3 chains. Since we made 3 chains to the top of the first single crochet of this single crochet, we accept it as a handrail. We wrapped it around. That's why we do not sink into the first single needle. We are knitting both of them together. Look, the round flower form has now turned into a square. I twisted it on purpose. Look, so that I can describe it to you more easily. Now we will continue knitting our handrails here. We continue to knit double handrails by inserting the single needle points into each of them once, until the point in the corner where we increased it. After this, there is a trick to increase the double handrail only at the corner point. I will share it with you immediately. Look, when we reach the 6-piece point, we immediately knit 1 or 2 handrails of the 6-piece into double handrails. Look at the third point. We have 6 handrails. We knitted our double handrail on 1 or 2 of them. Now when we come to the third handrail, we sink, we remove the stitch, we have 3 stitches, we wrap the first one together, we fill the first 2 together, we come to the same space, remove the stitch and add 2 triple handrails to the same point, we knit 2 triple handrails, we fill them again, look at the 4th handrail point, we sink to the next handrail point, we knit triple handrail again, 2 in the same space. The first one is the only one, both together, both together. We increase the size by knitting 2 triple handrails in this way for the 3rd and 4th sections. We are filling up, other parts continue the same. We will now proceed by knitting a double handrail for each of them. Look, I want to show it like this. We now proceed to the end of the row by applying the increase I have described here in the other 4 corners. We have come to the end of our turn. We knitted the last banister. Look, we had 3 chains here. We sink to the top of the first handrail without touching these 3 chains. We remove the loop and slide it from the other loop. This scroll forms the top of the 3 chains. Now, after tightening our rope by pulling a chain, we cut it sufficiently, remove it from our loop in this way, and tighten it again. Look, you can finish here now if you want. You can complete this motif this way without knitting the last row. Now, we are opening our leaves by hand ironing the point we bent here with our hands. Look, they will not be distorted in any way by hand ironing in this way. We are making our leaves. You can finish here. If you want, you can also knit this last row. I will share with you how we do this last row. I immediately take a different color. I immediately created my loop with a chain and fill it. I want to start from where I finished. Look here, I don't want you to miss this part because the numbers will have to match when the motif is combined. Look, the top point of the 3 chains here is our shifting point. Let's dive into this point right away. We remove the loop at the slip point and knit a double handrail. We put the short rope between the 2 of them together, both together. Now we sink to the other handrail point and knit double handrail again. We continue knitting by hiding the short remaining threads. Let's do a clean job. Now we are proceeding by knitting our handrails with 1 double handrail at each handrail point until the corner point. Now there is an important tip in this corner, especially for joining to make the finish. Now look here, there were 2 increase points that we knitted. Look, we knitted 2 triple handrails on the 3rd and 4th sides. We are knitting a normal double handrail for the first time. Look, we are knitting 2 triple handrails on the 2nd of the 1st increase. We went around the first one alone and the other 2 together, coming to the same nest, the first one, the other 2, the 2 together. Now we're pulling a chain here. This 1 chain is important. It is important when combining. We are especially full. Look now, we come to the first handrail of the 2nd increase and knit 2 triple handrails. This is how we increase. Look. 3 double handrails, a chain, 3 double handrails, 2 triple handrails, a chain. We knitted 2 triple handrails. Look, the increase points are like this. Let me bring it closer. It will appear more clearly. Only this corner is important for us. Look, here we knit 2 double crochets. That is, we increase. At the same point, we knit 2 crochets. And at the second point, we knit 2 triple crochets, a chain. Right next to the other, we add 2 triple handrails. Look, we are increasing it like this. That corner is a chain. As I said, it's important. In this way, we complete our motif by knitting our last row. We are at the end of our turn. After knitting the last handrail point, we sink to the top of the first handrail and make our slide. By pulling a chain, cutting our rule rope just enough, we derive it from our knowledge. Look, the last one we dipped in, we take the back part by sinking from the top of the first railing that we slid from the top of the railing. We strengthen our last thread by hiding it by passing it through these intermediate points with the help of crochet hook. In this way, we have finished our motif. We prepare our motifs by knitting in this way. This was the first part video of our recipe. In the second part, we will share with you how we combined our motifs and created the bag form. I will add the link to the second part in the description section of the video below. You can access it by clicking from there. Goodbye until we see you in the second part.